The internet has given people permission to give out advice, misinformation, whatever, and they really can't be fact-checked because you guys wouldn't know that it's misinformation. You guys are so I know, I sound like a broken record. But there's nothing wrong with not knowing this information. You learn as you go. Again, the major problem I have with these people is they put out this misinformation and they charge for it. So I was sent two things from the same creator who I've talked about before, and they are both offensively wrong. And every time I post about her, she goes on her page and she talks about being trolled. I get it, this can feel like trolling, but it's easier to call me a troll than to look inwards and realize you're posting bad information. You're doing to actors what you claim to be protecting them from. Again, this woman charges more than I do. And by the way, have a business. One of you guys sent me this girl's pamphlet about the different types of auditioning for the different types of show. It was $180. So the misinformation wasn't so egregious in the beginning. It was more like missing information. She talked about commercials, which I know jack shit about, so I can't comment on that. Then she talked about comedies, and it was very clear she had copied and pasted from the internet, and here's how I know that. She kept referencing slug lines, which isn't really something we talk about when we're talking about shows and breaking down a script. It's something the writers talk about. But if you Google the definition of single versus multicam, it comes up constantly. But here's where the information got so bad. She went on to talk about procedurals, never once defining a procedural. Instead, she focused on billing. I guess she decided that billing was procedural specific. Spoiler, it is not. But she conflated billing with type of role. Billing is how your name appears on the screen. Type of role is co-star, guest star, recurring series regular, which again, for every show it exists. It's not just procedural. So I was very confused about why that took up the majority of the procedural section and wasn't even accurate. So reach out to me, we can talk about it. And then at the bottom of the procedural section, she had examples of procedurals, and guess what was listed? Guess. General Hospital. At least know what a procedural is and define it and put correct examples if you're gonna pretend to give out advice. Because, the comedy advice was missing the fundamental conventions of comedy. Like the rule of threes and misdirects, the kind of thing you guys need to know when auditioning for comedies. But while discussing this with a colleague of mine, she basically said, well, her information doesn't suck that much. So I guess that's where we are now. Whose information sucks the least? And I just don't accept that.